Well, I think that your tour is going to be a huge success.
Thanks, Chris.
I think your career is going to be a huge success. I'm just listening to the content that you're putting out, and it's unlike anything that we're hearing on the country music scene. So, like, I appreciate you for what you're doing.
And man, Chris, I appreciate you too. You have been so kind to me from literally the first time we ever connected. And
Well, I believe in what you're doing. .com. So excited to have Mary Kutter back in studio. If you don't know Mary, you need her on every playlist you own. It's Kutter with a K. You're on all the social media platforms.
Yep.
And you are an emerging star in the country world. I think that you're going to be one of the biggest country acts ever. I have full faith in you.
Chris, that means so much to me because I know you hear a lot of music. You are in the studio all the time. That means a lot to me. And I also got to say, man, I just want to hit record and just press, play button every time I go out in public with that intro.
I think you're awesome. And I'll tell you why. Because you're just so different than what is out there with country. I want to play this snippet real quick, and then we'll dive more into like what you've been up to. But I feel like I teased it. You put this out a little while ago, and it's a song about Red 40, and we only have a snippet on the internet. But I've never heard somebody make a banger about Red 40. But Mary Kutter can.
The song's about Red 40.
Mama packed it in my lunchbox. Drank it from a juice box. It tasted like cherries.
It's really crazy what it's all
Colors sitting on my tongue. Commercial called it fruit. It didn't grow
They just
on
had
trees.
sales stickers. Just trying to get it. Isn't that crazy?
It's wild.
That meal was good and cursed. Well fed, but 6 feet under. Crumb trail behind the hearse. Yeah, they sell. Keep them profits pouring. Poisons flying off the shelves. Labels got no warnings. They try to sugarcoat it, but we're just buying that story. We're seeing red, red 40.
How do you come up with a song like that?
Just living life and thinking about, with all the information coming out now about all different kinds of things, obviously. But that day, I was sitting with my co-writers just right across town in East Nashville. We were sitting in my buddy's living room, and we were talking about just all the stuff that was coming out with it. And I was telling them, I remember growing up, there was a lady in our church who her sons were the same ages as my brother and me, and her name was Miss Karen. And Miss Karen, she would not let them have, like, literally Oreos, any red punch, any of that stuff. And I remember growing up in Kentucky thinking, that's so crazy. Well, no, Miss Karen was on the money.
Yeah, she was ahead of the curve.
She was ahead of the curve. And, we were just talking. We're like, man, there's so many things that we don't even know what we've been putting into our bodies for years. And I think about, where I grew up, Kentucky is the #1 state for cancer. And the county where I grew up is right at the heart of that. And who knows if that's what, I'm sure there's a lot of reasons that, things like that happen. But a lot of it can be the things that we think are safe that are on the shelves, and we buy them and then we put them into our bodies, and lo and behold.
Yeah.
So we were like, man, this Red 40 business. And we're like, you know what? We're seeing red, now that we're actually starting to see what Red 40 does. And the song just kind of fell out.
It's an unbelievable song. I can't wait to
Thanks.
hear the whole thing. Do you have a release date in mind for an album?
How do I put this on the radio?
I know you got a lot of moving parts behind the scenes.
There's a lot of moving parts behind the scenes. I would, realistically say that it will be sometime, in the next year, in 2026, because look at us now. We are finishing up on September, which is crazy.
Yeah,
so realistically, now we've cut 4 songs in the studio for the album. So that's kind of where we're at right now. In probably about a month, we're going to go back in and cut the next batch of 4 songs, then do, another 4, 5, 6 songs after that. And then we'll be trickling singles out, like a little piece of candy. Oh, there, a little piece over there, and I'm so excited. And the thing is, like that song right there, Seeing Red 40, as I write these songs, like that day we had written that song, I recorded the demo in the writing room, then I posted it, and that's kind of how I've been doing this. This, Chris, we've been friends long enough where, I write these songs, I post a little snippet online, and I see what the folks think.
Yeah.
And, you know, some songs caught me by surprise a little bit, like seeing Red 40. I don't even know where that's at now, but I know I posted a couple times and it's went viral a
Yeah.
couple times, you know, kind of like the Lab Coat song.
Yep.
You know, and it's so interesting to me. It seems like I feel like the word authenticity and authentic is just thrown around a bunch, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that. And there's different ways that someone can be authentic, right? But it seems like the more we write about songs that are talking about real things,
Yep.
it seems like folks are resonating with that,
Yeah.
you know? And I never would have guessed, though, that we could write a banger about Red 40, though. I was not, you know, that was not on my bingo card for this year.
I think that was what when I saw the snippet, I think that's what I sent you in a message. I'm like, only Mary
Yes.
Kutter could write a banger about Red 40. But these songs are you're getting attention a lot of places now.
It's been really fun. It's been crazy to see how social media, you know, it's the great divider, but it's also the great connector too. In my world, it's been quite the door opener, you know, and I think it's just been from, you know, posting every day, a little snippet of a song here and there. And some songs seem to have caught, you know, a little bit of fire. And, you know, right after I'd been on your show a couple months ago, the following week, Glenn Beck had reached out about me coming on his show.
Yep.
And that was through social media.
Yeah.
I didn't know Glenn Beck or any of his people. Obviously, growing up, you know, I'd seen his show, you know.
I wear it as a badge of honor that I scooped Glenn Beck and got Mary
Yeah,
Kutter
you did,
on first.
Chris.
I do. I tell people all the time, like I beat Glenn Beck to the curb. All right, so but these songs get attention, and then you find yourself getting phone calls where it's not just about music anymore.
Right.
Like you got invited to be on a Make America Healthy Again panel.
Yes.
How does that feel when you're like, I just signed up to be a musician and now they want me to come talk about health? What runs through your mind? What was that conversation like?
It's really cool. It's honestly an honor because obviously every morning I get up and I try to write music that, you know, will touch people. You know, I don't write songs just for me. And once again, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, sometimes you got to write a song that's just like a diary entry, but I always hope that my music will, you know, touch people. And when we got that call, I was not expecting that. You know, maybe I should have been with some of the subject matters I've been writing about, but that was really cool. So we hopped on, and I don't know if you joined the webinar or not, if you were on there too, but there were a lot of just heavy hitters that are really doing a lot in that whole space. Of course, I'm in the music space, so I don't know about all the different folks to a T, but I know people like Dr. Oz was on. I want to say he was right before me, maybe two before. Russell Brand was on, and what a cool way. I was honestly really impressed with how, you know, whoever organized that puppy, and I know they do a bunch of stuff, you know, and they had just asked me to be part of this one thing, but it's really, really great too. And I'm sure you've thought about this as well. I feel like that entire initiative, I know people are going to try to politicize the color of the sky, but literally it's going across lines. And I think that's incredible. That's so incredible. And I hope that, you know, all the songs that I write, you know, they reach both sides of the fence, you know, because, you know, Red 40, it affects people no matter who you vote for.
Kids
you know?
aren't Democrat or Republican.
Hey, amen. That is, you know, I've never heard someone say that before, but you are so right.
They're not.
Wow.
It's just, we got to look out for the kids.
Yes. And that's really inspiring seeing all the stuff they're doing. And there's so many different things. And that was the last thing I'll say about that webinar. So before I hopped on, so what they did for any folks that hadn't tuned into it, they had different speakers and folks, and they were organized. I got the little itinerary before. I had 7 minutes on this thing. You know what I'm saying? So I thought, I got to talk fast because I could talk a long time. And anyway, they had all these different people from like, you know, talking about, you know, I was on talking about the opioid epidemic, you know, and Big Pharma, because I have a song that's about that, you know, about Big Pharma targeting Eastern Kentucky. Yes, the Devil Wore a Lab Coat.
Which is an amazing record. We're going to play it in its entirety before we close out.
Thanks, Chris. And they had other people, though, even talking down to like household cleaners, you know, different things. And, you know, it got me thinking there are so many different pieces, obviously, that go into health. And I feel like this big umbrella is covering so many different things. And it's very inspiring. It's inspiring that people are doing something about it because we have science. We get to learn things like, oh, wow, turns out this thing is actually really bad for us. We should take that out of our food, you know?
I think one of the things that got you noticed, though, is like your fearlessness in all of this. Like you're not shying away. You're not backing down. I got another song here from you about Green River in
Yep.
Kentucky.
Yep.
But you said, authenticity gets thrown around, but I can feel the authenticity in your voice when you're singing this record.
Thanks,
This
Chris.
is a snippet of Green River.
That company poisoned our Kentucky water. This song is called
So
Green
good.
River.
Thanks, Chris. Man, it feels
Well,
good to be
your
back.
family was unlucky if you're from Henderson, Kentucky. Dirty money burned to ashes from the coal. They let it run straight to the water, sent folks straight on to the doctor. Ain't a scholar, but it don't take one to know. Even clean rivers get murky, but they ain't got lead and mercury that flows right through the pipes into your home, to your blood and to your bones. If you can't swim in it, then you probably shouldn't drink it. It's criminal poisons pouring from the sink. You can thank that corporate cancer giver for dumping all their greed in Green River.
It's a smash.
Thanks, Chris.
Has your style evolved? I go back in your discography, and it seems like you're more merry now than you were at the beginning of some of your records. Am I
Absolutely.
wrong in thinking that?
No, you are not wrong. You are totally correct. I think, gosh, probably, it's part of growing up, but also I finally got to the point where, so whenever I first moved to town, I was writing songs for other artists to sing. So my job in the writing room was to help tell their story. And that's a
Right.
totally different thing than telling your own story. Now, sometimes y'all can have the same story you're wanting to tell, I guess. But so whenever I started writing songs for me to sing, obviously, I was a trained little puppy dog to write, the typical love song or heartbreak ballad, and there's nothing wrong with those songs. And
People need 'em.
I don't mean that, I won't write one in the future, but I don't know completely what the turning point was, but I kind of was just over trying to fit into a box that other people, in Nashville or just in general say what you should talk about. And I find myself getting, whether it's a movie I'm watching or a book I'm reading or even music, something that says something, a
Yep.
little bit different. And I found myself writing songs just it wasn't really a planned out thing until I looked back. I was like, oh, wow, the last 2 weeks, most of the songs I've been writing are about social causes or whatever.
Yeah.
And there is a fine line, obviously, but that means a lot to me that, that you would see that, and I would hope that, the more songs I write, I keep on just being myself.
Well, I think even like your style, like you're looking more like you. In some of like your early album art, you look kind of like it's a polished country artist, but
Yeah.
like now you're Mary Kutter.
Man, thank you, Chris. That means a lot.
I think it's
That
noticeable.
really does. That means a lot to me.
And I think that's a huge ingredient to your success.
Thanks,
I don't know
Chris.
how.
Well, there's a lot of talented and a lot of beautiful people, and there are different templates of what you can try to follow. And, sometimes, trying to be the most delicious vanilla ice cream works, but if you're really not naturally a vanilla ice cream, you can try to water something down. It probably won't fly,
Yeah.
And so that really does mean a lot to me.
What does it mean to you when you see the response from fans on the road? Because like you talk about how like social media has really kind of been like your catalyst here, but
Right.
but you're getting to see that in action as you're going to different states and different
Yes.
venues, and it's like, oh crap, it's not just in Nashville. They also know me in Indiana. Like
It's been wild, honestly. The meet and greet times I love performing, obviously, but I really love the meet and greet times. And the last two shows, I had a show, my first arena show, I was opening up for Hank Jr. out in Tulsa, I guess, 2 weeks ago. And then I had a show up in Kentucky.
Yep.
And both of those shows, the meet and greet lines were over 2 hours each. And that was just, it was wild. I mean, I had a blast. Now, once again, the listeners might be like, well, yeah, it was 2 hours of the way she talked. She probably talked forever. But it was so
That's
cool
hilarious.
seeing the folks, seeing the eyeballs in the audience. Because,
Yes.
there's one thing, oh, wow, that's cool. That video hit 1 million views. That's awesome. I'm very grateful because not every video or song does that. But there's something about when you're out singing a song, especially when you see the mouths moving. You know what I'm saying? You can
Yeah,
hear
they
them
know
singing
the
along.
yeah,
Yes.
they know the
And I'm
words.
so excited, Chris. So I'm going on my first headlining tour
The
in
breakout
November.
tour. The
Yes.
breakout tour. All right, so you're going to Georgia, Kentucky, Ohio. You're going to be in Knoxville, Nashville, Chattanooga.
Yes.
Tell me about the tour. How did that come together?
It came together real quick, it seems like, and I will say also, I guess it's okay for me to say this, I have not posted this online yet, but Illinois just got added.
Let's go.
So I'm really pumped.
Congratulations,
and thank
Mary.
you so much. And anyway, this is my first headlining tour, so it's kind of hard to know what to expect, obviously, but we just put the tickets up on sale, and I'm really excited. I'm just so pumped.
Well, I know. At least your Nashville show is going to be a sellout. That's happening at what's the venue for the Nashville?
That's at the basement, which is such a cool venue.
And that's on November 13th.
Yes.
You can get tickets at marykutter.com. Kutter with a K. marykutter.com. Yeah, that's going to sell out.
I'm so excited, and well, it's looking like maybe a couple of them are kind of close,
Let's go.
which is really exciting. But this is the thing, I'm just so excited to see the folks that I was on a TikTok live the other day, and I was yakking about the tour, and there were some folks that were saying they had bought tickets, and I thought to myself on the live, and I didn't want to get overly sappy while I was talking to people on the live, but I thought, oh my gosh, like I've never met these people before, but we're about to meet each other. They've been following, I guess, maybe a year or so, the music, and it's going to be so cool.
Yeah,
it's just, I'm just so excited.
You're going to get down with your day ones.
Yes, yes.
Well, I think that your tour is going to be a huge success.
Thanks, Chris.
I think your career is going to be a huge success. I'm just listening to the content that you're putting out, and it's unlike anything that we're hearing on the country music scene. So, I appreciate you for what you're doing. And how can we keep up with you on social media? How can we follow your rise?
Everything is Mary Kutter, and Cutter's with a K, like you cut paper, but with a K. And man, Chris, I appreciate you too. You have been so kind to me from literally the first time we ever connected. And,
Well, I believe in what you're doing. And it started with this song that I'm going to use to play us out, The Devil Wore a Lab Coat, which is just a smash hit. Mary Kutter. She's going on tour November 13th, the basement in Nashville. You can get tickets at marykutter.com. That way you can hear Mary sing this song live. Mary, thank you for coming in today. I really appreciate you.
Thank you, Sugar.
Why don't you intro this record for me?
All right. This song right here, it's a true story. Took place in Kentucky, but really all throughout America. It's about Big Pharma targeting the folks in Kentucky. It's called The Devil Wore a Lab Coat.
Oh, hang on. Oh, I messed that up. Sorry. And it was such a beautiful intro. Here we go.
That was perfect timing. No, that make them wait for it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, wow. That was fun. Chris, that's,
It was, hey doc, there's a thing in my knee. Been working underground since '83. Doctor said I got you the remedy. It'll kill that pain real quick, trust me. Didn't take long, half the town was on it. Didn't ask questions, no, we just popped them. Doctors getting fat from ranking in kickbacks. It all happened so fast. One man's grave is another man's paycheck. Our expense at our expense. Forget the coal mines, they hit a gold mine. Hooked us on 6 feet of side effects. Like a wolf dressed in sheep's clothes. The devil wore a lab coat.